Welcome back to the Chase Down. Billy Donovan will not be the coach for the Oklahoma City Thunder next season. They have mutually agreed to part ways. Billy Donovan and Sam Presti couldn't really agree on a deal for the next season, saying that Billy Donovan didn't want to really coach through a rebuild, kind of wanted to run it back with this team we had, and kind of saying out there that Sam Presti maybe doesn't want to run it back and wants to start this rebuild, and that's why Billy Donovan wants to leave. Obviously, a lot of choices for Billy Donovan to go to. A lot of coaches have been fired, and then lots of candidates for the Oklahoma City Thunder to replace him with. But before we get into that, let's just talk about what Billy did with the Thunder. His first season he comes in, he's got Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. They make it to the Western Conference Finals, and yeah, we all know what happened from there. Thunder blow the 3-1 lead to the Warriors. Warriors go to the finals, and then after that, every year, Thunder get bounced in the first round of the playoffs with Billy Donovan. Obviously, that first year with that Kevin Durant, just Russ's MVP year, didn't really have much of the team. Russ kind of had to win MVP. Like, he carried the Thunder to the playoffs, and then after that we get Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. Couldn't really make that work out. Once again, out in the first round of playoffs. Then we trade Carmelo Anthony. Dennis Schroeder comes over. Look a little bit better. Paul George has an awesome season. And Damian Lillard said bye-bye to the Thunder in the first round. And then we had this year, low expectations. They come in and honestly play to the strengths of the roster. Let Chris Paul run the offense. Gallinari, a big scoring threat, got a surprise scorer in SGA. Steven Adams holding down the defense in the paint and rebounding. And Dennis Schroeder goes up for 6th Man of the Year, and he has probably his best year of his career. And, Billy Donovan would be a great player development coach because, he was a college coach. That's just what college coaches are good at, is player development. But he doesn't want to be here through a rebuild. He wants to go win. The team that's ready to just win now, and that's not where the Thunder are at the moment. Kind of getting ready to start this rebuild. Start drafting some young players and developing them, and find some guys to go along with Shea and Darius Baisley and Dort and whoever else is on this team already that we're keeping, not really sure. Billy was never really the big, X's and O's guys. Like I said, player development coach. I think that's what he was best at. Even though at times he did, I think, try and force guys to be good at things they weren't good at. Terrence Ferguson, for example, who was good at defense, but try to make him a 3-and-D guy, which, obviously 3-pointers are huge in the league right now, but I just don't think that would play to Terrence Ferguson's strengths. I've seen him attack the basket and be really good because the dude can jump out of the building and dunk. So, things like that, trying to force Domantas Sabonis to be a stretch forward when really he's a back to the basket, rebounding, post playing, power forward or center, either one. You can play both of them. We've seen it over there at the Pacers. Just guys like that. Obviously, I think he's helped Nader become a better player, and I think he's been really good for Darius Baisley this season. And at times he had the idea to run that 3-guard lineup that the Thunder were really good with, but we've seen him like in the playoffs not go small ball when they really could have, or just run in the inbounds play that Russell Westbrook already knows when Russell Westbrook is on the other team. Russ was there to blow that up. He knew that play was coming. Exact same play they ran against Denver when Russ had the 50-point triple-double to take the Nuggets out of the playoffs. His MVP year is the same play. Things like that. obviously Steven Adams is a great player, but Thunder might not have really needed him at the end of that. Like they could have adjusted and played some small ball against Houston, even though that's not really our style. But the opportunity was there. We rolled with it one game and it really worked. Just things like that. Billy Donovan, not the greatest X's and O's guy. Um, at times, sometimes he was, and sometimes his substitutions and his rotations were really weird. Things like that. But not a bad coach. I mean, he got to the play. He's been to the playoffs every year. So shout out to that. Dealt with roster changes every year and never complained. Shout out to Billy for sticking it out through these 5 years with the Thunder, with a different roster every single year. Saying Billy Donovan might be able to go to the Bulls or the Pacers, teams like that. Lots of teams ready to win now. Even the 76ers got a job opening. Teams like that. Now, as for the Oklahoma City Thunder, who is a good coach for the Oklahoma City Thunder? Lots of coaching candidates. Lots of guys have been fired. Brett Brown has connection to Sam Presti. They were both at San Antonio. They were both there at the same time for a little bit. Is he really the guy for the Thunder who we've seen adjust and go small ball and adapt to the NBA? I mean, we've seen him throw some different lineups out there for the Sixers, but we don't really know how much he's like the small ball kind of guy, because the 76ers were like, here Brett Brown, here's all of the guys who are taller than 6'10". Like, that's just what they gave him. So not really sure on Brett Brown. Didn't watch a ton of 76ers games, but I mean, he was there throughout the whole 76ers rebuild, and they came out with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Yeah, but we've seen them kind of ruin the confidence of guys like Markelle Fultz, so things like that. And we've seen Matisse Thybulle have a pretty good rookie year. So Brett Brown, possible candidate there. He has connections to Presti. There's Kenny Atkinson, who was with the Brooklyn Nets, who was with that team that was kind of similar to the Thunder's team this year, the D'Angelo Russell led Brooklyn Nets. They had a really good culture there. Just a bunch of guys, kind of like the Thunder had this year, who were just having fun, and they exceeded expectations, and they made the playoffs, and gave the other team a run for their money in the first round. And there was, since the Brooklyn Nets have hired Steve Nash now, there was the Nets coach for this year, which was Jacques Vaughn, saying he might just go back to assistant with the Nets, but you never know, he might want a head coaching spot, because that's what he rolled with this year. And obviously one of my more liked people is Dave Yeager. Dave Yeager is a available coach. He was with that young team with the Kings when they were looking good before they went and got Luke Walton and kind of ruined that Kings team. Dave Yeager is having a really good year. Dave Yeager knows how to be with a young team like that Kings team. Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, and then they were playing really good before they went and hired Luke Walton, who didn't really want to play fast with De'Aaron Fox. There's guys like who are at ESPN, like David Fizdale and Mark Jackson is the analyst. I know nobody really. Some people want Mark Jackson. Some people really don't want Mark Jackson. I don't really think he wants to coach, or he probably would have had a coaching job by now already. There's Jason Kidd and Tyronn Lue, who are assistants at the Lakers. Sam Cassell, or Tyronn Lue's assistant at the Clippers. Jason Kidd over at the Lakers. There's Sam Cassell is also with the Clippers. Guys like that. Thunder probably gonna go get somebody we've never heard of. That's just kind of how Sam Presti rolls. Hopefully it's not. I don't really need another college coach for the Thunder. Get somebody, maybe somebody new who's never really had a head coaching job. That over at the Spurs, once again, where Sam Presti comes from, There's Tim Duncan. There's Becky Hammon, who a lot of people think would be the first NBA female head coach. Obviously, there is some NBA guys who are over, former NBA players who are coaching in college. Guys like Penny Hardaway and like Patrick Ewing. Some people are saying Jerry Stackhouse might be able to get a head coaching job, but he's over coaching in college as well. So like I said, Thunder probably gonna go get somebody we've never heard of. I want Antonio Daniels. Antonio Daniels, former Thunder analyst. Halftime show. He's over at the Pelicans now. I just really like Antonio Daniels, how he sees the game. He's willing. I think he's willing to adjust to the obvious. We've seen him talk about it. Things the Thunder have needed to do to win some games. He's a guard. He was a guard when he was in the NBA, so he's there for Shea. Some people even saying that Mo Cheeks might step up and be the head coach, which I don't know. I like Mo Cheeks as an assistant coach. I think he's really awesome. But anyways, you guys. But anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.